if you're a designer and you have tried the pen tool in Adobe Illustrator once before, I'm going to give you a quick review on the pen tool, where to place your points, and how to make your curves. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Jenny Family-Arcano. I am a graphic designer and I love to use the pen tool. It is one of the most powerful tools that I have in my arsenal. It has taken me some time to master, but I have a couple tricks for you so that you can master them in an easy, quick way. Mastering the pen tool. Here we go. Alright, we're going to jump right into here. So a quick little overview for the pen tool. When you're using the pen tool, keep your finger on the P button. P stands for pen, and you can just click on a point and then it's going to kind of stay attached to you, and then you're just going to click off and then create another point. This kind of makes it open for you to create another point, but this is just, we can end right there. Another way when you get started is when you click on your first point, and instead of clicking and just moving on to the next point, if you click and hold, this will expand and become, this will expand the handles for you to start maneuvering your curve. And you can kind of see that when I'm clicking and holding, this blue line is starting to change shape, and you can manipulate these handles in order for you to create the curve that you want. So in order for me to do that, I'm just going to drag out to here, and that looks about right. And then this kind of gives you a suggestion on where the curve could potentially go next based off of the handles that you've already created. So I'm going to escape that. So moving on to shift. After clicking your first point, if you hit shift, this will automatically snap your path to be either 90 degrees level or 45 degrees, depending on where your mouse is going. So if I'm holding shift and then I click on the next one, it will allow me to kind of keep that same box corner. Same thing with the box right over here. By tapping down on my mouse and holding down shift, I'm able to trace all the way around. Holding shift is really important. Another way that you can use shift in your anchor points is by using it to keep your handles level or vertical. So you can click and hold, and this will extend your handles, and this will keep it either vertical or 45 degrees or level. So I'm going to click and hold, and it's going to extend my handles, and then I'm going to click at the very top. And see, when I don't hold shift, it doesn't do anything, but holding shift does. And then my handles are extended. Then I click and hold, and then my handles are extended again. There we go. The last shortcut that I want to go over is the Alt or Option. So for, I think Mac users, you have Option, and then there's also Alt. So this is the shortcut that you should be using. This is when you want to change direction at a very harsh location. I'm going to start this little moon holding shift so I can create that level. And then pulling this out. And then before I let go of my mouse, I'm going to hit Alt, and then that's going to break the second handle so I can change the direction. And you should change the direction of the handle to the direction you want the path to go. So in this case, I want to go back inwards this way. And then draw one here and here. There we go. Like that. So those are the 3 shortcuts that I wanted to go over. We're going to be using that a lot. P for pen tool, shift for keeping things level, and Alt or Option for changing direction. All right. So now we are going to move on to my first tip, and that is placing your anchor points only on the extrema. And the extrema are the most extreme parts of your image or your object. In this case, it would be on the very top here, very left, the bottom, and the right. And the way that you can kind of imagine this is if you had a straight line and you scanned it, where is the point at which your object is hitting and where it is hitting at the very end. So only on the ends. Same thing also for the top and the bottom. It would hit right in the center there. Same thing here. I'm going to draw it. So it would go like this, low. Having your anchor points placed at the extrema make it so you don't need that many anchor points in order to create your illustration. It keeps your file pretty small. That looks pretty good. A little bit here. It keeps your Illustrator file pretty small because you're only using what you need to create your image, and it makes it easier for you to handle your handles, your Bezier curve handles. When you have objects that have two extreme points, it's always just going to be level with each other. Use your best judgment. In a situation like a square, your extrema are going to be those two objects on the top left and the bottom right. No, sorry. Two objects on the top left and the bottom left. So in the situation as like an oblique or an oval that is slanted, which is the shape that I like to use very often, your extrema are going to be over here and also over here. And then the reverse of that will be right over here. And those are where your anchor points should go. And the way that this will look is by placing your anchor point, holding down Shift, and then going all the way to the extreme part right there. And then I'm holding Alt so then I can shorten it a little bit. And then I'm adding my other anchor point, holding down Shift, letting go. Then I'm looking for my other anchor point, holding down Shift, extending that out. I'm going to clean this up in a little bit. And then clapping here, tapping there, and there we go. And I can adjust this. And there you go. I'm only using anchor points at the extrema, and that makes it so I only use what I need. It's kind of like a minimal approach to designing. And that way you can handle those Bezier curves to the best of your ability, and that your anchor points and your Bezier curves and all of that looks really sweet. Another tip that I have for you is balanced handles, and I think this is really helpful for when you are wanting to have very smooth curves, making everything look good. You don't want like a little corner or a little weird shape. And balanced handles is something that you master when you want to make sure that the handles from your Bezier curves are about the same. And a trick that I actually learned to identify whether or not your handles are balanced is by looking for the frog. And this is going to be a very sad frog. If you can see the frog right now, let me know by hitting the like button below. But there is a frog here. Can you see it? What about now? Can you see the frog face now? If you don't see it yet, totally fine. What about now? All right. So this is the rule of frog face. So remember balanced handles. It kind of helps you identify like if the eyes are balanced, if they're equal distant from each other, that's when you have balanced handles. So an example of that with this is if you are creating your Bezier curves with each other within a circle, you're looking at making sure that these two handles are balanced so that they should be about equidistant from each other. I think it's the red part. Yep. Same thing here, is that when you hold down shift to make this level, I'm only going to go right here. It's not balanced with this one, so I'm going to extend this handle out so that these two handles are the same size. I'm going to finish this up. And then hold shift all the way around. And so all of my handles are balanced because they're all the same size and distance from each other. When you have a smaller circle, like the one that's on the inside, oops, that, shift and then extend, shift and then extend. So by looking at all of your anchor points all together, all of the handles should be about the same distance apart. And if you have objects that are exactly the same on the other side, they should also be at the same distance. And that's when you have something that's very symmetrical. The next tip I have for you is to not be afraid of overlap. When you are creating objects in an application like Adobe Illustrator, it handles overlap very well. And in this case, when drawing the letter E, you can go all the way around. And I like to keep some overlap because that won't interrupt a curve of an E. This works for objects that have a fill because if you outline them, you're going to see all the overlaps. So I'm just going to reverse that and you're going to see a very awesome letter E. And what this does is that when you have overlap within your objects, it makes it so that your curves are definitely going to look great and nothing will interrupt. You won't need to figure out like something like creating a path here and adding like a corner. That can get a little tricky and a little bit hard to handle. So I think it's always a great use case to use overlap in all of your objects. Thanks guys for staying tuned for the whole video. I hope you got some help, but if you have any questions, feel free to let me know by commenting below. I'll see you in the next one.